This is a timeline of the virus situation as of both Long Island and New York State. I'm using a New York State state of mind, and we're not really going to talk about all the quarantine rules and all that. We're just going to talk about the closures, the history of this from March 1st, when it first struck, when the first confirmed case was, to until now, which, let's get the date. June 6th. Now until June 6th. March was until June 6th, which is today. So, regional school closures to clean schools have been going on through the beginning of March, if even a single person had it. But at Plainview, this closure period, which began on March 10th, was extended to was first 1 day, then 2, then 3, then 4. Then they closed the schools down until March 20th. But then things would happen that would furthermore push it back. Now, at this point, there were no talks of reopening at all, and as many of you know, because there were no talks of any reopenings, you know what that means? More closure stuff. Because Cuomo put most things closed. Things were getting bad. They were getting steamy. And then all things have closed on March 16th. It's including schools, but in reality, most things have closed on March 16th. And those that haven't, closed on March 17th, including restaurants, bars, movie theaters, and gyms. Now, as you all know, we're still on the road to reopening, but the road to closure was extreme. It was extreme. It was a major road to closure. It was a little road to closure, but the closure period was long, and the reopening is going to be a long, painful thing. And if you're wondering, on March 22nd, he made a closure period about literally everything. You'd think that things couldn't get worse, but they did. Because on March 29th, all parks were closed and playgrounds were ordered to duct tape their things. This meant that we began our period of absolute closure, or the most closure we've ever had, that was painful. Cuomo kept pushing the reopening date back from March 30th to April 1st, then to April 15th, then April 29th, then May 15th. And all this while, on April 16th, when he made that was the first day that cases actually began to dip. On April 15th, we had hit the apex. But here's the thing. Reopening still occurred as late as most people have expected it, because it was a very slow dip, if anyone would care to look at graphs. And there were many upticks. Remember, there was a peak of 800 people losing their lives. So when it was like 700, 600, 500, we were going down, but we still weren't even halfway. And I'm telling you, once we got into the 200s and the 100s, there were massive roars up. Although the death toll yesterday was 35 people, so I think we have made substantial progress, especially factoring what's going to happen. So the reason is because on April 17th, 7 states met up and decided what to do. Because they had to have a plan to reopen. And that's basically why the closed period was pulled back to May 15th. Even though some regions were ready at the beginning of May, Cuomo made them wait until May 15th because he refused to rescind the order. However, non-essential surgeries upstate could begin on April 26th, though not here. Basically, elective surgeries and any other non-essential medical procedure had to be called off if they weren't essential. So now they were allowed to continue. People with great hip pains, but it wasn't essential, could not have their hip transplants Now they could, upstate. Gaming the system was strictly forbidden. However, and on April 29th, golf courses statewide reopened. On May 15th, so did tennis courts. And 5 regions of New York, the Finger Lakes, the Southern Tier, Central New York, the North Country, and the Mohawk Valley were permitted to reopen and move on to phase 1. Phase 1 is construction, manufacturing, and curbside retail. Now, the thing is the fact that Western New York was able to move on I believe, May 19th. Okay, so if they able to move on to phase 2 on June 2nd. So backtrack 1 day, 2 days to May 31st and 13th. Okay, Western New York was able to reopen on May 18th and the Capital District on May 19th. On May 19th also, elective surgeries in Westchester and Suffolk counties could reopen. It happened on the 21st in Nassau County and the 22nd in Rockland County. So by this point, it was just New York City and Erie County that was left. And if anyone really cares to wonder, New York City is going to be the last thing to reopen. Although by this point, it was kind of weird because Western New York was already open. But Erie County did decide to remain closed. So. Anyway, on May 26th, the Mid-Hudson Valley was permitted to reopen. Long Island could move on to phase 1 too on May 27th, even though we hadn't officially met the CDC guidelines. But there were going to be things that ticked it up. Most notably, the protests and riots. That I can't say what event it was, but believe me. Oh yeah, the Buffalo, the 2 officers that pushed that 75-year-old to the ground. Well, they're really only going to get a year in prison. Like, I can't talk about the actual situation, but that I figure it's pretty safe to talk about. Yeah. Well, it's a misdemeanor, but it's a class A misdemeanor. So that carries a potential sentence of a year in prison plus excessive fines. Anyway, on May 30th, the 5 regions of New York could move on to phase 2, which includes haircuts, although by appointment, regular retail, and I forgot what else. Because while Western New York moved on to it on June 2nd and the Capital District on June 3rd, we are still not yet to do it. Also, I believe on June 5th, outside dining was allowed to become phase 2, while normal indoor dining is phase 3. This video is gonna have to end on an awkward note.